We're here. It is the first mock draft of the NBA fantasy basketball season. It's 12 teams, it's 9 categories, and it is Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and Cousin Angelo, what's that smell? I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Twitter, as always, at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Today's episode is brought to you by the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free. We are available on all platforms. Like I said, first mock draft of the season. It is very early, too early in fact. Can't do them even on Yahoo yet, which will come next week. So we are hosting it on Fantrax, of course, which is the superior fantasy basketball platform. There's literally zero question about this. Right? I know that a lot of you will still play on ESPN or you still play on Yahoo, but Fantrax, if you're going to ask me this question, the answer is always Fantrax is the best place to play. So we are here doing a draft on Fantrax. Now, to be clear, you can't just go into those auto mock drafts on Fantrax like you do on Yahoo. I have to set them up as leagues, and we've got a bunch of fantasy analysts in this draft. It is 12 teams. It is 9 categories. It is a head-to-head mock draft, 14 roster spots. We're going to get into doing that now, but as is the way that I like to do these mocks, so we don't get interrupted during the show, I've got to tell you first up that today's episode is brought to you by the Game Time app. Buy tickets for sporting events. We love going to sporting events. Like, that's one of the things that, you're sports fans, you're here. And Game Time makes the process easier. We'll want things to be easier, of course. With Game Time, they've got so many different features and functions. One of the things at the moment that's going on is they are an authorized ticket marketplace for Major League Baseball tickets. So when you're looking to get to a baseball game, well, you can go to Game Time and know that that's going to be trusted. But they've got so many other things going as well. Flash deals, where something comes up right now. Like, they flash it, alerts on your phone. It's happening in your area right now. And the closer you get towards the time of the game, i.e. game time, the price actually goes down. So whether it is a baseball game you're going to, maybe it's theater, music, concerts, that's the same thing, comedy, other sports. Game Time is going to have such a vast array of things for you to check out. So download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA, LOCKEDON, NBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create the account and redeem the code LOCKEDON, NBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Across the summer, just fewer sports, simple. It's an equation that we know all too well. Unfortunate for us because we love watching them, as I said, in all of this stuff. But FanDuel's got something for you. Every day, all summer, every single customer gets something. They get either a boost or a bonus every day of the summer. It's not just for new customers who sign up. You don't have to use a code. You're just there. It just gives it to you. Every customer, every day, a boost or a bonus. So you can use that on so many different things. WNBA starting back up. Major League Baseball is rolling. World Series coming up. You can put on the futures there. NBA win totals are out. Futures. NFL, preseason. It's all going. It's all starting to start going again. And FanDuel's got those things for you. So go to FanDuel.com and start making the most of your summer. FanDuel is an official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. And don't forget to gamble responsibly. All right. We are jumping into the draft room. I'm picking at pick number 3. Michael Bolton would say, let's get to it. So let's get to it. Now, this is the first mock draft that I have done this season. So I have absolutely no idea how this is going to go. I don't know how my team's going to go. I'm just sort of fresh off finishing my first pass of projections. So I'm not really certain how good it's going to be, or I'm not really across ADPs or anything like that. Dan Besbris is number 1. He picked Jokic. Mike Catron, number 2. He picked Wemby. That means it's Josh Lloyd's time, and I am going to pick Luka Doncic at number 3. The NBA schedule is coming out today. It might have actually just dropped right now, so I have no idea what the schedule looks like, so just be aware when you're looking at this mock draft, I'm not taking into consideration anything regarding schedules. I don't know what it is. I haven't looked at it, and that's not what this is about. The next mock draft we do will have that information. There will be a schedule video at some point coming out, so just be aware of that. Shea goes at 4, and I don't really think there's going to be much debate about that as a top 4. Anthony Davis at 5 from Scott Cal. That was Matty G from Inside Fantasy at number 4 taking Shea. I'm not certain at Shea at 4. The second half of last season, he did start to fall away. His top finish last season was based on incredibly high steals and blocks. His free throws came back to career numbers at like 81, 82 over the final portion of the season. So I'm not saying that I wouldn't pick him at 4. I definitely wouldn't go Shea higher than 4, and I'm just not certain that's where he is. Davis goes at 5. Dan Titus at 6 takes Giannis. Obviously, a head-to-head league. Giannis makes more sense there. Alex Barutha from RotoWire takes Halliburton at 7. There'll be a lot of people, or some people who watch this, who go, no way I'm taking Halliburton in the first. I am totally in on taking Halliburton there. Pappy Roy takes Jason Tatum. He's from Fantasy Basketball PH. At number 8, I have zero interest, Pappy. I know, good bloke, mate. No interest in Tatum in the first round whatsoever. Embiid at 9 from Adam Stock. You all know my take on Embiid this season. I am just not doing it in round 1. Adam Stock is taking that risk because when you get down towards the end of the first round, like, the options are a little bit thin on the ground, but I'm not doing it. I'm just not going to do it. And one of my mock drafts will come up soon. This is Raphael Johnson here from Roto World. He took Durant at 10. I'm actually not even sure I'd take Durant in round 1, to be honest. Kingy taking Trae Young at 11. I do really like Trae in round 1. And I'm going to talk about this at some point over the coming weeks, but I'm very much... I know that you're all going to be scared off drafting LaMelo Ball. I think when you grab him in round 3, if that's where he ends up going, it is going to be the thing that has the biggest impact on winning a league. This is just screaming the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from 2 years ago. He still is a first-round type player, LaMelo Ball, on a per-game basis. You get that in round 3, there's no one else who really sits in that area who's close to that. So Trae goes at 11. Karan takes Steph Curry at 12 and Don Mitchell at 13. Totally good those picks, I think. Sabonis at 14 to Kingy. Ant Edwards goes to Raf. The next pick, then Devin Booker goes to Adam Stock. And now I need to start concentrating on exactly what I am doing. Because I know that when it gets back to my pick, LaMelo Ball is going to be sitting at the top of my list as the guy that looks to be the best projected player. And I'm at a spot here at pick number 3, which is the second pick in round 10, pick number 22, where I could do it, but I could also risk him coming back in round 3. And I would definitely take LaMelo in round 3 if he is there, but I don't have to because Barutha takes him in the middle of round 2. Because so Devin Booker goes at the 4th pick of round 2. Scotty Barnes goes at, look at the number of these picks. Barnes goes at 17. LaMelo goes at 18. Honestly, I know you're going to be scared of it. The numbers are going to be very good, I'm pretty sure. Chet Holmgren goes next at 19. I'm not sure. I think that's okay for Chet, honestly. But I think that there are times where he might be a little overvalued. I think that's totally okay. And it's hard to argue with too much of this. Like, I wouldn't take Embiid. Definitely nothing wrong with it. I don't like Tatum there. Whatever. It's totally fine. I'm not certain about Durant. Whatever. Totally good as well. These are all fine picks. Nothing's outrageous. Jim Harden goes next, which is... I like it. Pick 20 for Jim is good, and I better start concentrating on what I'm going to do because the top of my board is guys that I don't want. Kawhi, LeBron, like that's who sits in. Oh, well, Kawhi just went, so it's not him, so it's me. Well, this guy has slid far enough. Let's do the teammates. Let's take Kyrie and Luka. Last year, this would have been an absolute disaster combination because of the 2-game week in the playoffs. Maybe they've got a 2-game week in the playoffs again this year. I don't know. But I'm very happy to take Kyrie at pick 22. Who I will be targeting next is either Fred VanVleet or Paul George. So LeBron goes next at 23. Jalen Brunson should be starting to come off the border, I would guess, at these picks. And I think Bezbris is going to take Fred VanVleet here with one of these. Oh, Damian Lillard, that's a good pick too. And this is where I think things start to get really interesting in a draft. So Damian Lillard rounds out round 2 at pick number 24. You have to be a little worried that some of the percentage stuff doesn't come back from Dame. I have recorded the Milwaukee Bucks season preview with Justin Garcia. It'll come out in 2 days' time, and we talk about a few of those things. But yeah, he's good there, and so is Markkanen at pick 25. Obviously, there is huge tank risk in March from Lowry. Now, I am going to get a choice here between Brunson and VanVleet and Paul George, who I hope, well, Brunson's gone. What do I do here? This is... People are very much off Paul George. We know this. But on Fantrax, they've got him up here at 27. I'm going to take Fred. Did he go? Oh, no, I just can't spell. All right. Fred VanVleet, done. A lot of guards here, obviously, early. I do think that you're going to have quite a bit of success this season in drafts by punting assists. That is not, when I'm taking Luka at pick 3, that is not the route that I'm going, obviously. But I think leaning into a punt assists type build, and you have to be really careful when doing punt assists, because if you don't configure the way your projections look and your rankings look, then you can overvalue turnovers, and then you end up with people who don't score ever, and you end up turning yourself into a double punt, and also with that lack of volume, making your percentage categories way more volatile. You have to be very, very cautious about that. So I take VanVleet there at pick number 27. Jaren Jackson goes at 28, and Paul George goes at 29. So obviously, George is ranked ridiculously in the 50s, I think, or something on Yahoo, which is just not a realistic scenario. Paul George goes at that 29 spot. Tyrese Maxey at 30 and Şengün at 31. Maxey, there'll be some times that Maxey goes in the 20s. This is, I think, a smarter position to have Tyrese. It's just, I don't see how he takes any sort of level of step forward with Paul George around. Towns, good value there for Karl Towns. Followed by Bam Adebayo at 33. The player that's really, the fact that DeJounte Murray and De'Aaron Fox are sitting around here is a little surprising to me. I would have thought they would have gone by now. Same with Jalen Williams, the Bronco. Fox goes next at 34. Pretty solid. The DeRozan factor is real, though. Like, DeRozan will get shots. DeRozan will get assists. And that will might not be a huge amount, but it will take something away from Fox. Kingy takes Cade Cunningham at 35. Totally reasonable spot for Cade, I believe. And then to finish out round 3, we'll see what Curran does there. After he had Steph at pick 1, or his first pick at the end of round 1, and then he doubled it up with the Donovan Mitchell after that, and then we are going to be off. Now, my team looks really good in assists and steals and threes and points. We are very strong there. We are pretty good on free throws as well. Curran takes DeJounte Murray at 36, which I do really like that, as much as I don't like DeJounte as a player, or I think he's overrated. That's a great spot for him there. Now, the guys that I'm going to hope get back to me, the Bronco, I'm almost certain he won't, because I know that Besbris will take him at the end of round 4 if it gets there. Well, here he goes. Jalen Williams goes there at 37. I'm going to be really interested in Evan Mobley. I'm going to be interested in Jalen Johnson, who'll go in this round, I'm pretty sure. Emmanuel Quickly, I'd like to slide that through to the next one. Interesting here, Kingy taking Paolo Banchero at pick number 38. Now, we know that Paolo is a very good young player who's a high usage guy, but he has no steals, no blocks, bad field goals, bad free throws. It is a hard... I think that there is the talk about Paolo being a terrible category league player is wrong. I think that is very clearly wrong, that talk. But I also think that taking him there is craziness. Kingy, I'll probably send you a message later, like, what are you doing? Anyway, that's fine, because Evan Mobley goes at 39, Ja Morant at number 40. Obviously, on Yahoo, Ja Morant is down in the 300s. That will adjust because someone didn't do their job properly there. Stock with just taking the values here, like Embiid slid. I think that's really strong for Morant. And actually, Morant has been a guy in the past who's had a weak category profile. I do think there's going to be some signs of that improving. I think that's totally reasonable to take him there. Siakam goes next. I don't know. Siakam's like a weird category league player. He's fine there. Look, there's obviously nothing super wrong with it. Like, I look at that and go, yeah, I'd much rather have Siakam than I would Paolo Banchero in this round. King, I'm just going to keep harping on this until I find the next GOAT to pick on. It's going to be you for now. Barutha takes Jalen Johnson at 42. Reasonable. There are going to be times where Jalen goes at the start of round 3, and I don't think I'm in on that. This spot, totally good. And that's, again, where we talk about, or I'll talk about in a sec because it's coming around to my pick. Des Bane goes next at 43, but like I was going to say, remind me, you can't because it's not live, about talking about this area where there's so many guys who are very close to each other versus like, who's the safe guy? Who fell versus I need to have this guy, because you don't need to have this guy. You just don't. You can have this guy, but you could have 6 other facsimile type players of that sort of skill set or player value or whatever. Maximum Derek White goes at whatever pick that was, 44. 45 is up next, and then it is me, and I don't know what I'm doing. It's probably Jaylen Brown here, honestly, for me. It's probably Jaylen Brown. But I do need a big man at some point, and Jarrett Allen just went, and I don't know... who's the... Oh, shit. I do really like Quickly here. Do I just go incredibly hard onto the guards? Maybe I do. 14 seconds left. I'll take Jalen for forward eligibility. Yeah. Allen would have been an interesting target for me. I'll take Jalen at 46 there. On the way back around here, like my blocks aren't great, but Kyrie is a good shot blocking guard. Van Vliet's a solid shot blocking guard. So it's not disastrous. I just need, like Miles Turner I'll stick him into my queue. I was considering him. This is getting into Jimmy Butler range. It's Gobert maybe. I tell you what it is getting into though, and that is Tobias Harris range and Darius Garland. I don't know that Bezos will take him here, but he might. Bezos will take Kawhi if he hasn't gone. No, Kawhi's gone, hasn't he? Yeah. So Jimmy Butler goes at 47, and now it's Bezos. That's a very standard catch-and pick. So Bezos goes with the headmaster Jamal Murray and Rudy Gobert to start round 5 at 49. I think Gobert is a totally reasonable pick there. The quickly one is starting to call out to me. I definitely don't need his stats, but it is calling out. I am a little surprised to also see DeMar DeRozan fall down this far. Now, what do I do here? Like, could I, well, hang on now. I'm just going to pause that because, oh no, that was 38. And I'm just going to pause it just to check. I'm just going to check that he actually meant to take 8 in there because I think it was autoed. All right, he is good with that, which is a good pick. All right, I am going to do this. I am going to take Tobias Harris just to give you guys an indication of where I think the value for him might sit, and just to annoy everyone else. There you go. That's mainly what I'm doing there. But I do think that is a fair value. Now, Emmanuel Quickley would have been the guy that I wanted there. Miles Turner was another option, but I just didn't think I needed Emmanuel Quickley in that position. Right, I do think the value of him is really good, and I like to see that Quickley is falling into this zone. I got Harris at 51. This Franz Wagner goes at 52. So I think the real values sitting here are Miles, it's Garland, it's Quickley. I think Julius Randle was a solid value here. I think Zion should start to go off the board soon as well. DeMar DeRozan is a really good pick there, as much as I don't think he's going to be top 20 or top 30 or anything like that. This is strong for DeRozan. And we are in an area of the draft again. Haven't done any drafts. So I don't really know how areas of the drafts are sitting at this point, but this feels like a relatively strong spot. The problem is a lot of the guys that I have projected in this area are pretty risky. Like, would I want to take Bradley Beal here? No, I can get him later. Would I want to take Zach LaVine here? No, I can get him later, like Brandon Millen. Maybe, probably not. But there's a lot of guys here. Jalen Duren goes next at Jalen Duren goes at 54. Garland goes at 55. A lot of people are out on Garland. I think it's absolutely totally reasonable to be taking Darius at that spot. Like I said on the Cavs preview we did a couple of days ago, people are, this doesn't work, this pairing doesn't work. We've seen it work. We literally saw it work 2 years ago. Like, it worked. Doesn't mean it can't work. Doesn't mean it will work, but we have seen it work. After Garland goes Devin Vassell. The Spurs are a team that I'm itching to really dive into a little bit more on preview stuff because there's a lot of people that I hear, man, we're going to get Steph Cassidy, he's going to get all the ball, he's going to do all the usage. And then my question is, but what if he gets 0 minutes at point guard? Because Chris Paul and Trey Jones exist. So that means one of those guys plays 0 minutes. Like, that's a confusing spot. So Vassell is sort of in that uncertainty zone. Miles Bridges goes after Vassell. Quickly still around. He's crazy to me. Oh, there we go. Kingy takes him at 59. That is insane value. Kingy, after screwing up the Banchero pick, I love you getting the Quickly pick, and that's what it's all about. We slap with one hand, we Dutch rudder with the other. Miles Turner goes at 58, which is what I was looking at. And now we are getting into the spot where it's getting not embarrassing. It's not the right word, but Karan just took Zion at pick 60. Yes, I was going to say you have to take Zion here. I can see the top of this Fantrax board has Mikal Bridges, who I probably won't pick yet, but also has Kobe White, who I think would be a disastrous pick in round 6. Disastrous. Claxton, how the mighty have fallen. He was going round 3 in drafts. His field goal percentage, we talk about it. When you are outlier numbers, when he was like 71 or whatever it was field goal 2 years ago, you've got to expect it to come down. Now, it came down like 9 percentage points. The worry also is the Nets and tanking. The worry is that maybe they play Clowney or Sharp or do whatever. but this is a fine spot for Claxo. So Curran takes Claxton after Zion. Vooch goes to Kingy next. Now, I am absolutely not in on Vooch, but you take him there. People think I hate Vooch for some reason. I've said this a million times. Man, you were so down on him last year. Yeah, and I basically exactly nailed what was going to happen with him. And I'm very much not confident in him now because he is bad. And I do think there is a chance that his minutes go or he goes into a different team. But in that spot, totally reasonable. Brandon Miller and Zach LaVine. Oh, so Zach LaVine did go here. So Stocky is on a similar thought for me, where there will be plenty of people who won't touch LaVine here. I was considering him in round 5. And this is turning... Oh, Drew Holiday is way too early. Holy shit, no way, Puppy Roy. Absolutely not. I am not touching Drew at that spot. Is he a Celtics fan? Because I have not liked your Tatum and Holiday picks. Given the extra load of playoffs, finals, and the Olympics, no way I'm doing that. Barutha taking Julius Randle is a very, very good pick. Like the top of my board here at the moment sits Kristaps Porzingis, who I am not touching. Chris Middleton, who I'm not taking here. This is per game, obviously. And Bradley Beal, who it becomes risky. And then the dreaded name of Jordan Poole appears. So what do we do with that? What I do need is a center. Mikal Bridges goes at 67. This is a little dead zoney for centers. It's a little dead zoney. Who just went? Brook Lopez. It's too early, but I said it's... Simons goes. Now I've got to make a call. What the hell do I do here? I am... All right. This is early. What pick is it? 70. I'm taking Isaiah Hartenstein. I needed centers. He's not going to kill free throws. I know he might come off the bench, but I don't care. If he plays 30 minutes, he actually beats his number very easily. If he plays 25, he's about right on. And the other guy I was considering there was Jakob Poeltl. Clearly, I didn't choose Jakob Poeltl, but he was another guy I was considering. Now, my next pick is going to be... Josh Giddey has got to start. He's a very good rebounder, Giddey, and he might be my pick. So, Mark Williams. Got a faith in the back there, Dan. I'm talking to Dan on his show tomorrow, so I'll talk about that. Rozier goes at... I hate that Rozier pick, Mike. I think... I hate that. 71 for Rozier. Mark Williams goes at 72. A lot of faith. Daniel, my guy. Bradley Beal goes. All right. That's good for Beal. I like this value for Beal. Remember, top 50 player... last 3 months of last season. I like to see that Kobe White is sitting there at the top of projections he's still sitting at the top of the available players. This meaning other people aren't jumping on it. Whoa, Keegan Murray. No, Mike, I'm so sorry about that. I will not be endorsing that selection. It is okay. So Chris Middleton's there for me. I'm not going to do it. Sexton, probably not. D'Angelo Russell, interesting. Jordan Poole, no. Let's just take Giddey. And I know there's going to be, and you're going to hear this stat parroted everywhere. I'll parrot it here because this is what it is, but you'll hear it on every fantasy podcast. And someone said, Josh Giddey has never had a top 100 9-cat finish. And to that, I would say, who cares? Because I think most of us know that straight 9-cat rankings are inherently flawed and they do not represent the true value of a player ever. So that number means nothing to me. Kuzma goes after I picked Giddey at 75. Kuzma goes 76. McCollum goes 77. I am very, very cautious of drafting any of these Pelicans because I just have no idea what is happening. Who's coming off the bench? Surprised no one's taking Herb Jones, to be honest. Wow. Dan Titus making a bet on Jabari Smith at 78. Okay. This is... You know what I'm going to do? You don't, because I'm not even near my picks. I'm not going to tell you yet. See, again, I don't... This is where McCollum's going. That's where Ingram's going. Ingram's been better than this in the past. He's been worse than this in the past. But how do I have any confidence? How do I have a confidence in a team that currently projects the Pelicans to have both Herb Jones and Trey Murphy coming off the bench? And how does everyone get enough touches in minutes? So, yeah, that becomes a problem. Ingram goes at 79. Jabari Smith at 78 is pretty wild. This is a bit of a dead zone in the draft. Like, the guys that are appearing for me are a lot of punt points guys. Caruso, Suggs, Draymond Green, even an OG Anunoby. They're the sort of guys that are appearing. Or it's the D'Angelo Russells, the Colin Sextons. Well, Kobe White goes to Puppy Roy. They're at pick, whatever it was, pick 80, and Suggs goes at 81. I don't know if it was that an auto? Well, I'm not going to go back on it now because Suggs has already picked after it. Jalen Green. Raf, that is too early, man. I know he had a really good 4 weeks, but that feels too early, Raf. But maybe you have some different... Maybe you think something different than Jalen. I would not be doing that at that spot. I'm going to throw James Christian... Ooh, OG goes. I'm going to throw James Christian Middleton into my queue just so that I've got him there because we are starting to get to the spot where he should be taken. OG Anunoby is gone at, 83? Reasonable. D'Angelo Russell I'm going to throw in as well. Geordie Poole, he did it. The crazy man. Karan took him. Good for you. Good pick. Really good pick. Yusuf Nurkic is the other one that I am going to be queuing up. Because, you know me. If I'm going to take somebody, it's going to be Yusuf Nurkic. If anyone auto-drafts Porzingis, I will roll that pick back. Because that shouldn't be happening at this spot. If it gets auto-picked and Porzingis goes, we are rolling it back. Tyler Hero goes. So he goes Poole and Hero. What a frustrating team. Kingy, that's who I wanted on the way back. I was going to shock you all and take Cam Thomas. That is the spot for Thomas at 86. In fact, he probably will go higher in some positions. Again, we're on the lookout to Trey Murphy. Raf, you are banking on some interesting things. Trey Murphy and Jalen Green. And Men Thompson, what is happening? Wow, okay. All right. So the potential there is, not to crap on Raf and Stocky, because we again have different opinions and we're starting to move into flyer territory, but Trey and Amen will both probably be bench players who probably get... I don't know how much Trey's going to play. Look, I can't talk. I took Hartenstein, right, as a bench guy. But they are both bench players with clear options in front of them. Maga Porter Jr. goes at whatever this pick was, 89, which is the right spot for him, not in the 60s. Oh, no! Barutha took Nurkic. All right, reassess that. Well, it's turning into Jakob Poeltl territory for me. So... Austin Reeves just got selected. We think we have to go with Poeltl here. If it gets through to us. Now, how's my free throws? They're iffy. They're not great. Or is it Walker Kessler? Because I do need another center. I do need one. My pick. D'Angelo Russell went. Caruso went. Let's take Big Yak, and then what am I going to... Zubats is an option there too. Valanciunas is becoming an option. The bucket is becoming an option as well, John Kuminga. I think we might go with him. Again, it's sort of in his first mock draft, it's about sort of just gaining an idea of where some players are going, but also a little bit of flag planting. It's not all about it, but I have never been a Kuminga guy. And I'm not sure I'm totally a Kuminga guy this season. But I do think that he's going to be worth grabbing here. I just want to make it known that I think we're pretty okay with Kuminga. Pretty okay. That's the least likely... Oh, you absolute prick, Besbris. What are you doing taking John Kuminga? You hate him. What's that? Is another earthquake over there? What's going on? Oh, Dan, you have just created a balance of power change in the entire DC universe. What? And then Valanciunas. What? Kuminga. Really? Daniel. All right. I guess we need to figure out what's going on. What's my next pick after this? So we're coming up to my pick here. I've got 118. Will Middleton be there? Scoot goes. I think... Sheesh. I am just going to... Do I take Middleton here? Or, no, you know what? I'm going to snag Ivica. Just going to get myself a center here. Yeah, I know that Ty Lue loves playing small ball, but not having Paul George limits your small ball ability. And your backup's Mo Bamba as well. So I do think finally Gafford before Lively is an interesting call. I like catch on taking Scoot there as well. Walker Kessler goes. That was another one that I debated too. So as you can see in this period, again, this is where it's good. Like from Barutha picking there at 8-6, we had Nurkic, Pirtle, Valanciunas, Zubats, Gafford, John Collins, and Walker Kessler all go off the board. A bunch of centers. Herb Jones goes here. 102. Reasonable. Oh, you fucking prick, Barutha. There goes Chris Middleton. Well, you know what? I left it. I should have done it. I should have taken him, but I did not, and I missed out on what I think might be really strong value. And that happens, man. But you know what? We don't dwell. We move on. We get to the next one. The guys that I'm really liking at the moment is Colin Sexton, which again is just not a guy that I like, but there he is. So we're going to cue him up. Cam Johnson, absolutely not interested in that at all. Wow, no way. Clint Capella goes at 105. Derek Lively at 106. Raf, bang, you're back on, man. That is good. I like that Lively pick. I think there's a big step forward coming. One of the other ones we got to look. Jesus, Chris Paul's got to be going soon. Bogdan's another one. I also might shock the world. I might take RJ Barrett. I don't think he's going to get to me. So look at the centers here, man. Again, Capella, Lively, Okongwu, Alex Sarr. Wow-wee. That is early. That's the first rookie goes outside the top 100, and I think that will be the norm. We will see what happens. Who else goes? Does Khalil Ware go? Superman going to get picked? Dyson Daniels-King, that is early as well. Holy crap. What am I doing? Daniels before Bogdanovic is interesting. That Raf, Chris Paul there is amazing. Absolutely amazing value. So I'm really liking the Sexton opportunity. I hate Sexton as a player. Hate Barrett as a player. But I think the value is going to be there. Keontae George is someone for me that I'm looking at. Trace Jackson-Davis? Draymond Green needs to start being considered here too. So Bogdan does go at 112. Now we are very much, Draymond Green goes here. Really strong value there from you, Pappy Roy. That's really good. We are definitely moving into this zone of start to take your flyers. If there's someone that you want as a late pick, you can start to do it because the back end of drafts here, the value flattens out. The interchangeability is there, and you're better off getting the upside guy that you want versus waiting until the last round, and then you can fill out the other spots later. Marcus Smart is a pretty good pick at that spot. You would have noticed if you're watching on the video, or maybe you didn't, that I added Carlo Matkovic to my queue. Now, I do not think I need to take Carlo Matkovic in round 10 or 11. I don't know who the starting center is for the Pelicans, but I'm interested in him. After Marcus Smart was Keontae George, Titus. I really like that. Next is Mike Conley. Then is Jeremy Grant. And now it is Josh Lloyd's pick. It is time for Rowan Barrett Jr. Sorry. RJ Barrett goes to me. Now, I think that Besbris might take Sexton here. He also could take Naz Reid. The other one we start to get into the discussion of is Zach Edey. Catron took Sexton. All right, I'm going to put Jackson Davis. Where did he just go? No, I just spelt wrong again. What is going on with my spelling? All right. Pod's also going to be a later round pick. That catch-on pick, man. Bob Portis. Absolutely zero interest, Dan. None. But there is handcuff ability. He is bad, but there is handcuff ability. We are moving into the territory of like Al Horford. I'm surprised he didn't take him there. Is that Tyus Jones? Yep. This is okay-ish. I'm not big on Tyus. It's my pick. What do I do here? 15 seconds. How are our flags? Are our flags feeling good? Should we plant them? I'm winding it down. This is my bench. I'm going to Jackson Davis it. Yeah. All right. So Klay Thompson goes one pick before that at 122 to take Trace at 123. Malik Monk is really sitting there as a really strong option as well. I'm surprised that no one's gone on to Denny Avdia here. I am actually a little bit surprised that people haven't taken Denny at this spot. PJ Washington going there. Now, this is, again, we get into that zone, right? Where round 11, it's our bench. PJ, by all the numbers, is totally reasonable here. I'm not shitting on you, Matty. It's reasonable. But is like same as Klay. Is there any upside whatsoever? I don't think so. There might be, but I don't think so. Denny Avdia, as much as I'm not as big a fan as others are, it appears like everyone else is not as much of a fan as others as well. So this is a good spot. Nas Reed, take him on your bench, totally good. Totally reasonable. People start to go into the hundreds for him inside the top 100. That's where we get a little bit too far. I'm going to throw Zach Edey into the queue just as this is becoming like where I think, now again, you take guys in round 11. That doesn't mean you think they're going to be the 130th or 120th best player. It means you think they've got a chance to be top 100, but they could easily be 190th. You want upside, floor, you don't care at all. Not at all. Kelly Olynyk, I don't really get that pick at that spot, 127. We know Olynyk can be really good, but at the moment, the minutes aren't really opening up. But, yeah. Oh, the Pods pick is good. There goes Pajemski at 128. All right. Malik Monk sitting there is one of those ones where he's not a super, super high upside play. Well, stock with Mitchell Robinson's really strong. It's not a super high play to get a guy like, I don't even know who I was saying. I think he just went, Jaquez goes. I'm not sure about that. To get Monk, but like he's good enough, I think, to push past that sort of idea. Jaime Jaquez goes there. Injuries will help him, absolutely, but they're not there yet. Shaden Sharp, we're taking flyers. This is good. This is what we want. Who is going to take the flyer on Ben Simmons is the question. I think we also need to start what am I doing putting all these like annoying Canadian guys into my queue? Zach Edey, RJ Barrett's on my team. I just put Andrew Wiggins there. That's embarrassing for me. Really embarrassing. We're getting into like, the territory of Taylor Hendricks. We're getting into the territory of, Karan takes Zach Edey. We're getting into the territory of like, what if Kevin Porter gets minutes for the Clippers? We're getting into maybe it's Zach Ricochet that plays okay. I don't feel good about it. Maybe it's time for one of us to get our dick out. And maybe someone picks Grady. There's a lot of different ways that we can go here. But this part of the board is pretty empty. Khalil Ware goes from King. Again, I don't know that this works. It would require them playing Bam at the 4 and not investing as much into Highsmith and Jovic. Possible. Also, I think there's a real chance that Ware is just dropped after a week because he's playing 17 minutes a night. Raf takes Asar Thompson. The Pistons rotation does remain relatively confusing. I think we're all pretty much aware of that. I added Jeremy Sohan to my queue. I think we might be just moving a little bit too far off of him here. And the other one that's interesting to see that slid is the big Ragu himself, Dante DiVincenzo. Now, Jackson Davis was a little upsidey for me. Well, there goes Sohan. Damn it. Jackson Davis was a little upsidey for me, so I think I will go with Monk or Wiggins with this pick. Makovic is going to be my round. I don't think it'll be round 14 because I think Titus would take him. I don't know if I want to make a stand on it and take it in 13 though. We'll debate it. We'll think. Norman Powell for Pappy Roy. We know that guys have gone for the Clippers. But that's one of those picks, again, different strategies, different ideas, where I just go, what's the point? Like, Powell is fine. He is okay. He can get you some points and threes, but what's the point? Whereas Barutha in the next pick took Jaden Ivey, where, I don't know, Jaden Ivey might get completely marginalized. And they may say, we're playing Beasley and Hardaway. It's possible. Or, under a new coach who knows what he's doing, he might completely explode in year 3. That's what I really like at this spot. And that's the potential there. I think that somebody will take a flyer on a Bub Carrington, and I think that's reasonable. Like Andrew Nembhard, I don't really see the path to big production, but there's a little bit of upside in him. But like someone like a Carrington, but at the moment there's Poole and there's Brogdon still there, so I don't know how that's going to work, but it could. It could very easily work. I'm just looking down my list of... I wonder if anyone will take Bilal, because he'll be in my mix, even though I don't... Oh, shit, it's my pick. All right, we've got to go... We have to we have to do Malik here? Let's take Malik Monk at that spot. It's way too far, I think, for Malik to fall. Al Horford got picked. Interesting. All right. Horford is still going to miss tons of time. And they're still going to limit his minutes. But his value is higher than what it was last season, just because of Porzingis' absence. No one has taken Porzingis yet, I don't think. Oh, no, they did. Someone took him. Where did he go? Did I miss that? Maybe it was an auto that I missed and forgot to roll back. My bad. Oh, no, it was Karan took him. DiVincenzo just went to Catron at pick 143, which is really, really good, I think. Now, we know that it's likely that he doesn't do as much as he did last season, but let's go. I am absolutely putting Ben Simmons into my queue. John Isaac. I'm going to guess that wasn't an auto because Isaac was not the top of the list. Deandre Melton is going to go into my mix. Someone is going to take Steph Castle here. It is going to be Raph if it gets back to him, without question, or it might be Titus, actually. But Castle will go in this. Castle will go in this round for sure. For sure. So I've got 2 picks left. Do I just go with the Simmons-Matkovic combo? Hang on a sec. Someone said roll it back. Let me have a look. Damn, can we roll it back? Yep. I'm going to roll these 2 back from Besbris. Undo last pick. Undo last pick. All right, so Dan, roll back his Isaac and Melton picks, and we are back ready to go. The idea, I think, in mock drafts is this. KCP. Timers can run out, and in a real draft, that happens. But I do think that I set the time at 30 seconds. It's really quick, so we can just get stuff rolling. The idea of just like, I'd rather these guys make the picks that they want to show how they value guys rather than like they screwed up because, they might be recording a podcast on the other side as well. There goes Castle. Ew. All right, so do I take it? Do I take the... here we go. I do not believe that this is value at this spot. Just to be clear, I do not believe this is value at this spot, but I'm just putting it out there. Carlo Matkovic, boom. All right, putting it out there. He may play 0 minutes, but I'm just putting the name out there. There goes Bub Carrington as well at 148. And then on the way back, I've got Wiggins and Simmons in my list. I will take Ben Simmons with my final pick. Donovan Clingan goes, here we go, rookie time. Clingan, fine. Again, how the hell the minutes work in Portland is anybody's guess. But whatever. Aaron Gordon is a very safe and stable pick there. Kingy said, I was hoping Matkovic. Of course you were, Kingy, because you hear me talk about Matkovic all the time, and you thought you were going to snag him. That's why I wanted to get him. Malcolm Brogdon, solid. I would say, I don't know if he's even low upside, because what if he's a top 70 player for 40 games, and then you cut him? That's actually worth it. He can be that guy. And as much as I don't like Ricochet, here, Pappy Roy, fine, absolutely what you need to do. He will likely be bad. But whatever, we take him. Reed Shepherd for stock. Now, Shepherd will provide us some nice steals and threes, but how does he play over 22 minutes? I don't think it's possible. But we take it and we see. We see. D'Anthony Melton goes next. Really good pick there from you, Kingy. Someone said there, Mike said you probably should have handcuffed Ayton with Clingan. Yeah, the problem is, you bastard took Ben Simmons. How did you do that? Why would you do that, Karan? You ruined my surprise. And then you took Noah Clowney, which I really like. The problem with the idea of handcuffing is you can't do it. Yes, Clingan can have value alone in this round, but as a general rule in fantasy basketball, you can't because of the archaic format, the ways are set up, the leagues are set up, is that every spot is an active spot. There is no bench. There is 0 bench. I know you have a bench, but it is not a bench. Every spot is an active spot. Did Kingy just draft Markelle Fultz? Kingy, who he play for? He took Markelle Fultz. Holy crap. All right, so Raph takes John Isaac. Very interested to know why Barutha says all-time heat check drafting a free agent. Yep. Cool. Yep. you know what? We take flyers. Andrew Wiggins still being here is insane to me. And I'm sure someone will take him. But if not, that is going to be a very, very good last pick from me. The other one to look, if you want to talk handcuffs, is the big avocado in Philly, Andre Drummond. If I'm going to sit here and say I won't take Joel Embiid in round 1 because I am very, very scared of multiple knee surgeries on the same knee, then taking his backup is smart. So, do I take Drummond or Wiggins? Now, in hindsight, Drummond or Wiggins probably better than having Makovic. Pappy Roy going against the Makovic idea with Daniel Tice. I wonder if anyone's going to go with an Eve Misi pick. Karis LeVert goes at 162. We are going 14 deep here. Again, a 10 starter, 3 bench setup is inadequate. Even 10-4 is probably inadequate. Grayson Allen, big fall from what he did last season because Tyus Jones is going to arrive and play, and Allen is not going to shoot 46% from 3. It is just not likely to happen. Mataz Buzallis. All right, let's go. Totally okay. Now we get to the spot where, what do? Well, those of you listening or watching know that both of these are unbelievably good options here. Unbelievably good. I'm taking, this is the handcuff. Drummond. All right. I think that, yeah. You know what? I actually don't like that I picked Drummond right then. I probably should have just taken Wiggins. Because I look at Drummond and go, yeah, full season he's probably going to be good enough. And look, if Embiid goes down round week 2, then I'm set. But what if he's playing 16 minutes a night? Is that enough? Probably not. Mike Catron takes Trey Mann. He's taking the fly there. I cannot believe no one has gone with Andy Wiggins. I think Dan's going to take Bud Hield here. Who did he take? Bojan Bogdanovic, one of the biggest NPCs in the league. You know Bojan plays for the Nets, yeah? I'm sure you did, or maybe you didn't. All right, so let's go through my team, picking at 3. Luka, Kyrie, Van Vliet, Jaylen Brown, Tobias Harris, Isaiah Hartenstein, Josh Giddey, Jakob Poeltl, Ivica Zubac, Rowan Barrett Jr., Trace Jackson Davis, Malik Monk, Carlo Makovic, and Andre Drummond. I would immediately look to see if anyone had a fake injury tag so I could stash them on IR so I could go and grab Andrew Wiggins. I think Andrew Wiggins has a shot to be better than 40 of these players that were picked. And I think some of it is sitting there, and again, I'm guilty of this, of just over-indexing the negativity of the start of last season. When you look at these teams, which team do you guys like the most? Who do you think did the best? What pick was the most outrageous in terms of why did you go so early? Which pick was the one that was the one where you go, I cannot believe this guy slid? Of course, yeah, my projection's still in the early stage. The draft tracker on Basketball Monster projects me to have the best team. Of course it does, because it's using my projections. That's how I'd want it to come out. And then it's Catron and Besbris who pick 2 and 1. Yeah, you have Wemby and Jokic, you get a good head start. Then it was Kingy, Scott Kalla from Menace Podman, Karan, Matty G, Raf, Titus, Stock, Barutha, and Pappy Roy. Again, a lot of things that can change with all of those sort of things. If I go and add replacement games filter onto it, which looks at the games played we've got and tries to add replacement level guys to fill in for that, look, it changes slightly, but not a huge amount. Not a huge amount. And that, I reckon, we'll wrap up our first mock draft of the 2024-2025 fantasy basketball season. Again, really want to hear how terrible... I know you're going to have, man, this bro, was he know what he's doing? Someone left a comment on my videos, stick to soccer. Okay, I don't know anything about soccer. Not really that big of a sport here. But I'll stick to it. You can tell me that I know what I'm doing, and if I joined a real league, I get smoked. Tell me about it all now in the comments, but just make sure you comment. Also, hit the thumb, hit the comment, follow, audio, video, double bang. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.